When I work with home buyers, the most exciting part of it is watching my buyers get excited about the things they're going to be doing to their homes. They're personalizing it. They're making it theirs. Many times I go back and visit them after a couple months after they settled in, and they are so proud of the things that they've done to personalize it to their needs and tastes. They'll talk about the renovations, what they've done, how they've done it. It's so exciting and rewarding at the same time. But there are things that people have done to their homes that don't necessarily add value. And of course, they ended up regretting doing what they did. So in this video, I'm going to show you things that people have regretted doing to their homes after they've moved in. And this applies to the renovations, things that they bought to the home, things that they've done to their home, and all in efforts to save you a little bit of cash. So if you're thinking about buying a house or you've bought a house, I highly recommend you watch this. By the way, my name is Tony and I make videos about living in Hamilton, Toronto, and the GTA. And if you're finding any of this stuff worthwhile, please hit that subscribe button and bell icon to be notified of all the updates happening here. Let it start off by saying there's nothing better than moving into a new home and making it your own. It's so exciting. And my clients would typically call me back a year or 2 years later and saying, hey Tony, we've made some changes. This is what we've done. They're so excited about it. And of course, I'm excited for them and I want to see it for myself. So I get to see what the changes they made, the progress that they've done. It's so exciting for me and them. But let's be honest, with some of these changes, people have regrets. And let's walk through some of these regrets so hopefully you don't have any. Initially, these were great ideas, and unfortunately, the execution of it wasn't what they thought it was going to be. And in the end, they're thinking, I could have saved a little bit of money, or maybe we shouldn't have done that. Let's get started. Let's look outside and see what some people have done that they've regretted. The first one on my list is extensive backyard kitchens. You know what I'm talking about, the big outdoor kitchens with the Viking grill, the refrigerators, the huge pizza ovens, the huge patio set, the beautiful landscaping. It's great. Everything looks awesome. The idea of it is phenomenal. And during the pandemic, we saw a lot of this. A lot of people went outside, spent a lot of time outdoors because they're sick and tired of being cooped up inside. However, what people forget is we live in Canada, especially here in the GTA. It's cold 6 months out of the year. They've spent $10, $20, $30, $50,000 outside, and they're not utilizing the space during the winter. Believe me, I love a great barbecue. I love a great grill. I love a great outdoors. But you got to look at it. Is it the best use of the money you spent? And many people have found it's kind of a waste. It's just not being utilized enough. The next item that people have regretted putting in, and I know people are going to hate me in the comments for it, but it is outdoor pools. And we're talking underground outdoor pools. And I know people are going to tell me I'm nuts. They love it. They absolutely adore it. But here's the thing. A lot of people don't take into the account the added expense of having that pool. It's the chemicals, the heating, the maintenance that's involved. Not only was it a costly investment to put in, but the monthly costs can be and will be high. And the maintenance that's involved by cleaning it daily, by maintaining it weekly, by closing it and opening it up every season. And if you don't enjoy doing this, it becomes a chore and nobody wants the extra chores. And just like the fancy outdoor kitchen, the utilization isn't where it should be. We live in Canada. We're in the GTA. It's cold 6 months out of the year, if not longer. So the value that you're looking for, you might not get. I'm not telling you don't put in a pool at all. I'm just telling you that the ROI on the pool isn't what you expect either. And people have regretted putting in pools. And here's the other thing. Over time, you've been there 10, 15 years. The kids had great time with it. Now the kids are teenagers. They're 16, 17 years old. They're not utilizing that pool as much as they used to. They're going to lose interest in that pool. And now you got a big, huge decoration sitting in your backyard. And the last thing is it really doesn't add a lot of value to the house. It's a big expense up front. A lot of people love pools, and just as many, if not more, don't want a pool in their house. And using comps, I know that it only adds about 4 to 5% to your home value. So let's do the math on this. You have a $1 million home. It's only adding $30,000, $40,000 worth of value to that property compared to a property exactly the same that does not have a pool. Some people love pools and I get that, but this is just something that people have regretted. Another item that people have regretted putting into their backyards is these huge, enormous, giant playgrounds. And you know what I'm talking about, those big wooden structures with huge slides for the kids. It might even have slides, seesaw, and a rock climbing wall. I had a swing set for my kids as well. And the reason why most people regret these is over time, kids get older and it doesn't get used as much. And now you gotta clean up that area, resod the backyard where that toy set was. And let me tell you, those playgrounds aren't cheap. And I've seen those as little as $1,500 all the way up to $5,000. And they're great. The kids love them. They will get bored of them. That novelty wears off really quickly and then you're stuck removing it. And then it goes back to, we are in cold weather for half the year. And let's not forget the kids nowadays have plenty of activities to do. They're in baseball, hockey, football. Name the activity, they're doing it outside the home. And they're also interacting with other kids. So basically, that playground equipment becomes obsolete pretty quickly. I'm not saying don't do any playgrounds. What I'm saying is don't spend a lot of money. Get a smaller set. The kids will have a great time with it as well. And eventually, when they grow out of it, it's easy for you to remove. And I'm speaking from experience. We had one. We went through it. 2 or 3 years later, the kids were done with it. Next on my list is high-end appliances. And we're talking the Vikings. When you move into your home, most people want to change out their appliances. And I understand that. Having good appliances is important. They want a new washer and dryer. They want a new fridge and stove. But anyone who's spending $20,000 or more on appliances realizes they're not any better. And they realize they don't have to spend this money. Yes, I understand you have those fancy new refrigerators with the touch screens in it. But that's one extra thing to go wrong and to break. Nobody needs that. And especially for you first-time home buyers. Trust me, you don't need this. Don't overindulge on the appliances. It's truly not worth it. You want something that works reliably over the next 10, 15 years. No one needs to go high-end buying a Viking stove or a Sub-Zero fridge. Let's talk about big freestanding tubs. And you know what I'm talking about, those big white tubs with the fancy faucets. I know a lot of people that are regretting those decisions. And primarily it's because they take up a lot of space in your ensuite. And my wife can attest, they're super hard to clean. So they end up becoming a showpiece that you never use. So people end up regretting purchasing them. My wife says they look beautiful, but it is a huge pain in the ass. I personally have never used that tub. Even those old corner tubs, I don't think I've ever used one. And then it takes a long time to fill up because there's a lot of water that goes in those things. The functionality isn't there. So what I'm saying is really think hard about that one. I know they look great. I know they look modern. I know they look fancy. But are they practical? Let's talk about some rentals and conversions and updates that people have done. Let's talk about converting a garage to a living space. This is one of the things I see occasionally, and I see people doing it, and I understand the reason why they're doing it, but let me tell you, they're regretting it. Most people regret this decision to converting a garage space to living space. It's not really expensive to do, but it's not cheap either. It can cost anywhere between $20,000 and $30,000. And comparing that to putting into addition, it's a huge cost-saving benefit. But here's the problem people found with doing these conversions. It just doesn't flow well with the rest of the house. You're not changing the footprint of the house. You're not changing the house, but you're only changing this one room. You're just using that garage as an extra bonus room. So it kind of gets awkward. So you're looking at it, you got to go watch TV in the den. Sometimes you got to go down flights of stairs or up flights of stairs. And usually the doorway is this narrow. It's not meant to be a living space. And it really does get wonky. I know a lot of people that have done it and have regretted it. And let's talk about resale value. When you go to sell your house down the road, you're limiting your pool of buyers because a lot of people want a garage, especially in the GTA where they can use it for storage or car parking. And if you don't have a garage, you're limiting the amount of people that are interested in your property. And talking about more room conversions, there's people that regret converting an extra bedroom into a walk-in closet. And yes, this is a thing. Over the years, I've seen many people do this. They have a 4-bedroom home. The 4th bedroom is really small, so they convert that to a closet. And trust me, I understand. You want the extra space. You want the extra room for your clothes. You want what you want. You're living the way you want to live. But you got to understand you're losing a bedroom. And when you're thinking about resale, you lost one extra bedroom. For the family that needs the 4 bedrooms, you just eliminated a whole bunch of people in that pool. And the other thing is most people are looking for 3-bedroom homes, knowing that they're utilizing 3, but they're converting 1 into an office, because in this day of people working from home, they need that extra space, and having a smaller bedroom is ideal for the home office instead of renovating a basement to occupy as an office. Don't get me wrong, having a large closet ensuite is a huge selling point, but not at the expense of a bedroom. And ultimately, if a buyer decides to look at that property, what they're thinking is, it's going to cost me money to convert this back into a bedroom so my family and I can use it. So the regrets aren't because of the conversion, they're more regrets on the resale value when they go to sell it. And another item people have regretted is in the kitchen. It's the open shelving in that kitchen. It's the whole farmhouse trend. Everybody wants the open shelves in the kitchen. And I'll tell you, it does look great. People love it. But the practicality of it, not so much. So now they got their Tupperware sitting in an open shelf. If you're considering going with that trend with the open shelves, please take into consideration the amount of storage space you need and have. As you know, this channel is all about helping people buy and sell homes. And if you're looking to purchase a property, my contact information is below. Now I'm going to share some tips on what you should be doing to plan for those renovations. First thing you should be doing is prioritizing repairs that need to be done today. Those items that you saw in the inspection reports. Now, once all those things are done and you're thinking about how to make improvements on the home, I tell my buyers too, don't rush any big changes. Think about them, analyze them. You need to live in the house to understand what your needs are. And I tell people, live in your house for a year. You'll get great insight on what works and what doesn't work, what changes to make, what changes not to make. You want to understand the quirks and the features of that house. So if you're doing upgrades, you might leave certain aspects, or you might change certain aspects. And you don't get the feel of that until you've lived in the house for a little bit of time. You want to understand the flow and the function, everything there is to know about that house. And if you're making mechanical changes, heating and air conditioning, you want to know where you're spending your time. So you want to make sure that those elements are taken care of as well. And as you're living in the home, you might realize that if this wall wasn't here, you can open that up and have a bigger living space or a dining space, whatever the case may be. But that insight only comes after living in the property. I understand that people want to do updates right away. They have ugly kitchens, ugly countertops, ugly appliances, but suck it up for a little while and get used to the house, and then you can realize what changes you need as opposed to the changes you want. And lastly is make sure you have a budget. Get a budget, work with that budget, stay within the budget, and when you're looking at that budget, tack on another 15 to 20%. Unfortunately, there's going to be overruns, there's going to be extra costs, there's going to be unforeseen incidences where you're going to need a little bit of extra cash in order to deal with the rental. I'm going to guarantee you, when you're doing renovations, there's always the risk of the unexpected. And if you're renovating, experts think that you should renovate the high traffic areas first. Typically, you're starting in your kitchen, your bathrooms, and your living rooms, and then you're working out from there. These are the areas that are utilized the most and are seen by the most amount of people. And those also are the highest interest points in your house. They'll provide the best resale value for you. So those are the rooms that you should be looking at prior to doing anything in your bedrooms. And when you're doing renovations, plan for functionality. You want the renovations to improve the function of the house while looking great. A lot of times people don't realize the best upgrades are lighting, functionality, and traffic flow. And before you start any upgrade projects, make sure you get the necessary permits. So contact your town, find out what's needed in order to do those changes, especially if you're doing any structural changes. And make sure you do that because it might come back to bite you when you resell that house. And finally, consider your renovation timeline. And if you don't, and you're working with a contractor, you're going to drive yourself nuts. So get a definite answer on how long the reno is going to take before you actually start on it. Guys, I hope you found this video valuable. And if you did, again, subscribe, hit that bell icon to get notified. See you in the next one.